Here are 4 ways ChatGPT can help you get into law school. Now, we know that since OpenAI released ChatGPT, a lot of people have been using it, and there have been a lot of industries that have been completely transformed. One of it has been the education sector. And we also know that ChatGPT was recently able to pass the bar exam. But the question is, can it actually help you get into law school? Today, I want to tell you the 4 strategies you can use ChatGPT to actually get into law school much faster than you would be able to do a few years ago when ChatGPT did not even exist. Now, first, a little bit of a disclaimer. What I'm about to teach you is going to absolutely save you a lot of time, money, and energy, but it's by no means meant for you to cheat your way to law school. You still got to do the work. You still got to be a fantastic practicing professional, and you have to do the right thing. But there are ways you could use ChatGPT to accelerate your learning and accelerate the application process that I'm going to explain to you. Now, in case you don't know me, my name is Behrouz Momeni. I'm the CEO and founder here at BMO. We have helped over 50,000 applicants at the time of filming this video get into really competitive schools. So we know exactly what works and what doesn't work. So I'm gonna bring that experience plus the technology of ChatGPT to help you out today. So what are some of the things that ChatGPT can help you out? There's 4 things that can help you out. One is, of course, the applications. Second thing is the LSAT. The third thing is the law school interviews. And lastly is your letters of recommendation for law school. So let's go over these one by one, and I'm gonna tell you how you could use ChatGPT to be able to go through each of these hurdles in the admissions process and get into law school much faster than all of your other peers that are not using ChatGPT. So the first thing is your law school application. So normally for your law school application, you got a personal statement or multiple personal statements, you got supplemental essays, and you have a list of activities or in other words, a resume or list of past experiences. How can you use ChatGPT to help you out? Let's first start with the personal statement. For the personal statement, what you can do is you could give ChatGPT the exact details and instructions provided by the schools you're applying to, so it understands the word count, the character limit, then explain to it how many paragraphs you want it to be. Then you could give the instructions that you want certain past activities of your own to be included in whatever order you want. So for example, in paragraph 1, you want to explain such and such experience in such and such a tone. Second paragraph, you want to explain that, for example, you were volunteering, at a law firm for a little bit, and you want to highlight certain other characteristics using that experience. Give it all the little details that you need to include in your personal statement. Ask it to write this. This is gonna be your essentially first draft. So again, you're not going to use that to submit. You're probably going to get rejected. So be very careful. But it does save you time on that first draft. So now you got that first draft. What are you going to do? You're going to review it. Make sure, first of all, it makes sense. Change the wording, making your own words, and come up with really fantastic opening sentences, concluding sentences. Make sure your experiences actually make sense. Make sure transitions from paragraph to paragraph make sense. Make sure the whole thing is a full, comprehensive story that actually makes sense. So that's your personal statement. How do you use ChatGPT to help you with your law school supplemental essays? There is actually a couple of ways you could use it. One is, a lot of times we have found students have difficulty understanding the meaning behind the supplemental law school essays or personal statements. And the best thing is to use ChatGPT in that kind of a case is to give the prompt, give the instruction, and ask ChatGPT to explain what the prompt is trying to ask and what would be some of the strategies to best describe or answer this type of a question. So that would be one, to get some sort of a guideline from ChatGPT and then make sure it makes sense, then implement. Second way is, if you know what it means and you want help with that first draft, what you do is you again give the instructions, you explain the word count, you explain word limit and how many paragraphs you want it to be, what you want to include, what characteristics you want to mention, what personal experiences you want to mention, then bam. If you've given a good instruction to ChatGPT, it's going to give you a good answer to your supplemental essay. Then you take it, now you go to work on your own. It saves you a lot of time on that first draft, which usually takes the longest time. You go on your own, start reading everything, make sure they all make sense, correct anything that doesn't make sense. Then, once you've done enough reiteration and proofreading, it'll be ready to be submitted and it'll be completely yours. There's absolutely no cheating to worry about because it will be yours and yours alone. Now, what about the list of activities or your past experiences for your law school application? How can you use ChatGPT for that? Well, the way you use ChatGPT for your list of past activities is, again, a couple of ways. One is you could ask it to organize all your activities. So you input all your activities, including dates, and ask it to organize it in a chronological order so it's easier for you to read in a table format. The other thing you could do is you could provide the instructions, and let's say, for example, you could say that, hey, each description, 400 characters. Well, ChatGPT is going to go to work on whatever you provide and make sure that it's no more than 400 characters. Again, it's going to save you a lot of time. Of course, at the end, once you got the full list, make sure you spend the time to make sure everything actually makes sense before you're ready for submission. Make sure everything in your own words, don't cheat. Next is, how do you use ChatGPT to ace the LSAT? Now, for the LSAT, using ChatGPT is going to help you in multiple different ways. One of the first and easiest way to use ChatGPT for the LSAT is to ask it to help you with questions for which, even when you know the answer, you don't understand how you're able to get to that correct answer. So you provide the question to ChatGPT, you explain what your challenge is, you provide the answer choices. First of all, you're gonna verify that ChatGPT will give you the same correct answer, because that's essentially going to make sure there is no discrepancies between what the correct answer you have is versus what ChatGPT is telling you. Secondly, you're gonna ask a follow-up question from ChatGPT and you say, hey, how did you get to that answer? Show me exactly step by step how you were able to come up with the right answer. Then it's going to give you that. Then after that, you could go one step further. If you have not figured out the pattern, which is really important for the LSAT, is all about pattern recognition. If you don't understand it, you say, can you give me some more examples of questions like this and show me the pattern so I can solve these things on my own? You could do that over and over and over again until you get it. That's the beauty of it. Second way you could use ChatGPT for the LSAT is you could ask it to create a comprehensive set of questions for a section of the LSAT you're having problem with, or a full exam, right? Then again, you're gonna be able to have fresh set of examples to work with. You could also ask it to withhold the right answers at first. Once you're done, you could be like, okay, now give me the right answers. Once you get the right answers, again, if you don't understand how ChatGPT was able to come up with the right answers for the mock LSAT that it's written for you, you could then ask it to explain how it was able to come up with the right answers and how you could do that on your own. Again, you do that until you get really better at this. The next way you could use ChatGPT for the LSAT is to ask it to create a personalized LSAT study schedule for you. Now, this is really cool. Why? Because essentially the instruction you could give is, hey, I have this amount of time. Today's date is X. I am writing the LSAT on Y date. I like to study X number of hours, preferably from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. Give me a personalized study schedule for the LSAT. You should also say, hey, I want to study X number of minutes or hours for each section of the LSAT. And this part of the LSAT is my weakest. This one is my strongest. Give me a personalized study schedule. You'll see it's going to go to work. It's going to give you a personalized study schedule. It's completely going to, transform your study schedule that you have. And it's going to save you a lot of time. Now, that was for the LSAT. How can you use ChatGPT to help you with your law school interviews? Some law schools actually invite you for an interview. So even after your application, you're not done. And a lot of students struggle with interviews because they either get nervous, they have a lot of ums and filler words, they just mumble through their words, or they can't think on the spot. So what do? Using ChatGPT for the law school interview, you could do, again, a few different things. The first thing you could do is you could ask it to create a full set of questions based on the format of the interview. So you already know what schools you're applying to, what the format of the interview is. For example, is it traditional? Is it panel? Is it a multiple mini interview? So you could get some sample questions you could practice. Next way you could use it is, let's say you found a sample question, you don't know if your answer in your head is the right answer or not. You could ask ChatGPT to guide you and give the best answer. Next way you could use it, you could give it the question, your answer, and ask it to tell you if your answer is the correct one, or find faults with your answers and provide a better answer. One last thing you could do with ChatGPT for your law school applications is to help you with your law school letters of recommendation. So how can you use ChatGPT for that? Well, the best way to use ChatGPT to help you with your law school letters of recommendation is in a case where you ask your professor or a past employer or whoever it is, and sometimes they say, hey, you know what? I'm definitely going to support you, but before I do, can you write a draft letter of recommendation for yourself, then send it to me, put my final touches, I'll submit myself. A lot of students struggle doing that for themselves, but using ChatGPT, you could save a lot of time and get your rough draft within seconds. How do you do that? Here's how. Make sure you find the exact instructions for that letter of recommendation for law school, for whatever law schools you're applying to, or if it's through a centralized center, you could find the exact instructions. You provide the instructions. You will ask ChatGPT to pretend to be that person who is writing it for you. You provide some more context, such as what's the name of the person, what's their position, how do they know you, how long have they known you, and what experiences do you want this person to include in the letter of recommendation, and what are the characteristics that you want ChatGPT to quantify and qualify and explain or highlight when it's writing your letter of recommendation pretending to be that person. Then you're gonna get your first draft within seconds. Now you got your first draft, you're gonna read it, make sure it makes sense, submit it to whoever asked you to do that. So simple as that. This was 4 ways you could use ChatGPT to get into law school much faster than anyone else. If you enjoyed this, go ahead and like this video, share it with a friend who may be applying to law school, and I hope to talk to you soon.